While money can never erase the painful memories of a crime, there is a program that may help ease some of the financial burdens faced by victims and their families. Here to tell us about the Virginia Victims Fund is Patty Strathman, Victim Witness Director with the Sheriff's Office. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What is the Virginia Victims Fund?
The Virginia Victims Fund is a fund set up through the state to help crime victims with expenses that arise as a result of being a crime victim.
Can you give us some examples of what expenses may be incurred because of a crime?
Sure. So probably the biggest one is medical expenses. So any expenses that a victim incurs as a result of any kind of physical abuse or a crime, they can apply for their medical expenses. Counseling expenses. So if they wish to seek counseling and they have expenses due to that. They can apply. Families of homicide victims can apply for any funeral-related expenses. Crime scene cleanup is another one that victims can apply for if the crime occurs in their home or in their car and they have to have a company come in and clean the scene. Moving expenses is another one. So if a victim has to leave their home due to having the crime occur there or even fear that something could happen as a result, they can apply for moving expenses. So like a moving company, they can pay for that, or they can pay if they have to put their stuff in storage while they're temporarily staying with a family member, or first month's rent, things of that nature. And then another expense is if a victim has, like reoccurring visits with a doctor, they can apply for mileage. So if we have a victim that has to go to physical therapy 3 times a week, that can, become costly, so they can apply for the mileage to and from those appointments.
So it sounds like there's a lot of different expenses someone may not think about that are associated with being a victim of a crime.
Right, and actually another one I just lost wages. So if a victim is unable to work due to their injuries and a doctor can state that they're unable to work, they can apply for their lost wages as well.
Because it's no fault of their own, obviously, so that's good. Now, how is the program funded?
It's funded through court fees and fines and restitution. So if there is an offender that's arrested and gone through the court system and found guilty, we will ask for restitution for the offender to pay the fund back for any expenses that the Virginia Victims Fund paid out. Okay,
so it's sort of the perpetrator, if you will, has some responsibility in some cases.
Absolutely. And we'll order restitution even if, there's a prison sentence, because eventually, when that person gets out, part of their probation will be that they'll have to pay their restitution.
Right. That's good to know. Can you talk about some of the assistance that you gave to the victims of the recent Holly Cove shooting here in Chesapeake?
Sure. So we were having some difficulty reaching some of the victims because we either didn't have phone numbers or some of the phone numbers were not were not in service. So what we did is we put it out there that we would be at a library out that way for a certain period of time, and for any victims of that incident to come, and we would assist them in filing for the Virginia Victims Fund.
And this was a shooting of 8 to 9 people.
I believe 10 people
10
total.
people, okay, so that's what that was. And this was at an event, a neighborhood event.
Yes, ma'am.
So was it difficult to locate the victims?
Well, we had contact information for the ones that were shot. So we did send letters and we attempted phone calls, but we weren't having much luck getting a hold of people. So that's when we had our public information officer put out that we would be at the library, and we had a great response. And we ended up filing 8 claims for people that had come in for their medical expenses. A lot had pretty significant medical expenses, several lost wages, and then we even had some people come in just for information that were at the incident and wanted to come in for information or to talk about the incident. So it was a very, it was a really good, we had a good outcome from that. So we were pleased to be able to help the people that came.
And like you said, it's not always about the medical expenses. There are other factors involved, like just the psychological impact from experiencing something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did, we gave a lot of referrals for counseling. that they could, if they decided that they wanted to seek counseling. So we did give out a lot of referrals for that.
So that's part of the Chesapeake's Victim Witness Program. A little bit, is the counseling part of that, or is that part of the...
So we don't do the counseling at the Victim Witness Program. We do like crisis counseling.
Okay.
So when people are, experiencing difficulties because they're going to court or they just want to talk about the incident. So we'll do like some crisis counseling, but not ongoing. So we'll make referrals out to, and a lot of it our referrals depend on whether they have insurance, what if they have,
of course,
what their situation is. So we have different referrals for people that don't have insurance than people that do have insurance. And then they can seek the counseling from there.
Now, can you talk a little bit about the Victim Witness Program and what makes it unique maybe from other cities?
Sure. So the Victim Witness Program, we assist crime victims and witnesses as they're going through the criminal justice process. What's a little bit different about our program is that we're out of the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office. Most victim witness programs are out of the prosecutor's office. But many, many years ago, Sheriff Newhart saw the opportunity for the grant, so he applied for it, and now Sheriff O'Sullivan has kept it, and so we're out of the sheriff's office, which gives us a very unique. It gives us abilities to really do a lot of things that the sheriff is. He's very supportive of our program. And
it's one of the largest programs in the state, correct?
It is. Yep, it is. We currently have 10 people in our program. So it started in 1984 as a one-person program. And we're, now up to 10 people. And it's a grant-funded program. We get our funding through the Department of Criminal Justice Services.
Okay. Now, can you tell me, like, if someone is a victim of a crime, where would they find out information about their Virginia Victims Fund, like how to reach out to someone and talk about that?
So if it's a victim here in Chesapeake, probably the easiest thing for them is to contact us at the Chesapeake Sheriff's Office Victim Witness Program, because we're able to file their claims online. We have like a portal that we're able to file the claims online, which makes it a little bit quicker and easier for them. They can, of course, contact the Virginia Victims Fund themselves as well. There's a 1-800 number, and they do have a website. But usually, even when they call up there, they'll refer them back to the local Victim Witness Program. So it's an application process. We fill out the application with them, and then we submit the bills, receipts, anything that we have through this portal that we have access to.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to talk about the program.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We have to take a quick break, but up next, we'll talk about an upcoming exercise that will help prepare school employees in the event of an active threat. Please stay with us.